Hi again. This is going to be a quick record. Sorry, it's going to be a different deco today. One I wanted to do for a while. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights activist and the leader of the movement of 1955 till 1968, where he was assassinated. He was assassinated on 4/4. Kill is 4/4. A Baptist minister, famous for I Have a Dream speech, led marches for rights to vote, desegregation, labor rights and other civil rights. On the March of Washington, he delivered his I Have a Dream speech. On the non-violent protests, there's been some claims, which I'll get into later, that these protests led to violence, and it was because of him, not because of someone else, the racist white man, which is what blacks have been conditioned to believe. And a bit of background on where he was staying on the day he was assassinated. Booked in room 306 at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. Last words were, "Ben, make sure you play Take My Hand, Precious Lord" in the meeting. Did he really say that? Just remember, it's all that his life, what he did, what he said, what he participated in, was all by a script. He is an agent of the New World Order, the Roman Catholic Church, the Jesuit Zionists, who carry out these rituals by the numbers, using gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. So anyway, he was shot at 6:01 p.m. by James Oray, a patsy. Well, I'm not sure it was him anyway. He died 6 weeks on one day. His death time was 6:01. For Malcolm X's death anniversary. 43 days for Malcolm X's death anniversary. Killing is 43. And he dies 1,137 days for Malcolm X's assassination, which was 3 years ago, in this period of the 60s. 1137 is the 17th Fibonacci number. 17 is kill 17. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his name in full, is 106 like Black Power 106. Reflection of 6:01, his death time. And reflection of 6 weeks and 1 day for Malcolm X's death anniversary. His name is coded 99, like racism 99. Dr. King is also 99. Francis Bacon cipher 77. A bit of controversy about whether the 0 has value or not, whether you can't say 77 might not include a 0, but I'm just going to include it anyway, because I've heard other decoders say 0 doesn't have a value, so you just take it off. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is 77, like Zion is 77. Black 106, as I mentioned, like Black Power 106. Blacks 34, like Murder 34. Black Power 43, like Killing 43. Black Power 56, like Society Jesus 56. The Zionist generals behind all these Black Power movements. Black Power 42, like Freemason 42. N-word is 42, slavery is 42. Freemason is 42. Killings 43, as I mentioned. 43 days from Malcolm's death anniversary. Racism 33, like Mason 33. Martin Luther King 83, like Murder 83. I'll zoom in a bit. Martin Luther 83, like Murder 83. Martin Luther King 73 in the Jewish cipher, like Sacrifice 73. The N word is 42, like Freemason 42, and 102. N word 40, like Zionist 40. Dr. King 99 on racism 93, 99. Dr. King 13 on Masonry. His first name Martin 42, like Freemason 42. He is, I suspect him to be a Freemason because he was a member of the Boule. Martin Luther's 26, like 26 letters in the alphabet, which is what geometry is used for. And interestingly, 26 is also not true. The word not true is 26. King, his last name King, 67, like blood sacrifice, 67. King's 21, like Jesuit 21. Civil rights 64, like Kill 64, and Synagogue of Satan 64. And 71, like Catholic, 72, like Jesuit Order 72. Civil rights movement 99, like racism 99. Zionist 42, as I mentioned before. Zionist 77. I Have a Dream, the infamous I Have a Dream 51, like Conspiracy 51. 113, like my favorite word. Bullshit. And not true. And mainstream. In the Francis Bacon cipher. I Have a Dream 210, reflection of 201, like Jesuit Order 201. I Have a Dream 113, and not true 113. Bullshit 113. The time he died 76. Reflection of 67, like the blood sacrifice. I think I mentioned 22, date numerology. Did I have 22 here somewhere? Yeah, King's 22, date numerology 22. So undoubtedly he was going to be in the news on that day, but for the wrong reasons. And by the way, he died at the age of 39, like Malcolm X died at the age of 39. What are the odds of that, as someone said one time? And blacks is 48. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 48, without the zero in Francis Bacon cipher. Or one of their ciphers. Blacks 48, 72, 74 like killing, 42 like Freemason, N-word, slavery. They all racially coded these famous black people. Because the Jesuit Zionists, New World Order, they are racists. They just do it to humiliate them any way they can. MLK Jr., which is what he's known as well, is 39. He died at the age of 39. 84 like Jesuit Order. False flag. Well, you can say he's a false flag because he wasn't who he says he was. He was just an agent. He wasn't a unifying figure, despite what the history says, because all history is riddled with bullshit a lot of the time. Yeah, I think I mentioned Kill before. Kill 44, as I mentioned, because he dies on 4-4, kills 4-4. Assassination 43, he dies 43 days from Malcolm X's death anniversary. Assassinations 43. And slavery is 36. Now the reason why I highlight this, luckily I Luckily, I've not forgotten, because the room he stayed in was 306. 306 is like 36. That is like 36 or 36. 601, the time of his death, gives you the mark of the beast. And the room he stayed in gives you master, or police officer, or fire sacrifice. Now, fire sacrifice is probably irrelevant to this because he got shot here from when he was out that room, and his murder is a sacrifice, and plus fire sacrifice makes sense because he's got a bullet, which is a form of fire, get fired into him. Maybe I'm talking out my arse, but fire sacrifices doesn't make sense. He stayed in a room with room 306. Fire sacrifice is 306. So I'll go with that. You guys don't? That's fine. Anyone watching this video. 306 in the Satanic Cipher. About the Revolution movement. He had lots of Zionist advisors around him. Stanley Levinson was one of them. This is from Henry Macker's website. This kind of exposes how during King's time of stirring up dissension and revolution in mostly southern US states, which eventually led to blacks becoming privileged class in the US, he organized a march on a western Maryland city, Hagerstown, if my memory still serves. His opportunistic marches halted a few miles south of town, awaiting King's limousine arrival. Meanwhile, a group of Hagerstown citizens, mostly black and led by a black doctor who had been delivering the babies of Hagerstown for many decades, hundreds of them white babies, arrived from the north and blocked King's unruly bunch from moving forward. So not everyone was happy with Dr. King. They thought he was a divisive figure, it seems. The doctor told King and his secretary that they would not be allowed to destroy the peace of their town. King, tail between his legs, got back into the chauffeured limousine, which turned around and turned left. End of story, but no interest kept to the media. Typical of the media. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. English extended as 1303. Maybe Gomes not gonna like it, but I'm still gonna go with. Without the 0133, he's a government agent because he has no value. Again, it's controversial, but I'll go. Some people do that. Or similar, 133 government, and his full name, 1303 English extended. Communist, well. Very plausible he's a communist because he's been implicated. And communist in Jewish ciphers 39. He dies at the age of 39. Malcolm X, as I mentioned, they were born 43 months and 28 days apart. Interesting that they're born 43 months apart. I say this because 43 is killing 43, so it's almost like they're both coded to die, it seems. From Dr. King's last birthday till his assassination gives you 81 days. 81 in gematria is ritual. Ritual is 81 in English ordinal. I did hear someone say he's a reverend. So reverend is 44, like kill 44, 46, like sacrifice 46. Michael King Jr. is his birth name. 36. He stayed at the room 306. He stayed in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee is 72, like Jesuit Order, 72. Memphis, Tennessee, and Reverse Satanic is 803, like Murder 83. Activist is 113, like Bullshit 113. Notice Bullshit and the word activist. Match 3 of the 4 base ciphers. Baptist Minister 211. 211. 47 prime. Blood Sacrifice 67. The motel he stayed in is 67 as well, so gonna get sacrificed there. The moment was 77, like Power 77, Judaism 77, Zionist 77. Agent. Yeah, I said he's an agent, yeah. This is with reference to James Earl Ray. James Earl Ray, 79. Society of Jesus, 79. Don't know why I put that in, but I'll ignore why I just put agent. I'm not sure what I was trying to show here, but should have cut that off. That's James Earl Ray. He didn't do it, by the way. The guy's a patsy. He's born the 10th of March. From his birthday till the assassination gives you 3 weeks and 4 days. 3 weeks and 4, murder 34, 25, death 25. 25 days old. An agent is 25. Oh, that's why I said it, okay. Good thing I included that. Now they say he's a patsy. The word ritual is also patsy. Patsy and ritual are both 81. Put that in because a lot of people believe he's a patsy. At least a lot of, I think lots of people believe that. Famous people that, I mean, they put it out there that he was killed by conspiracy. They don't hide it. But obviously they're hiding the fact that he was an agent. He was just sacrificed he was murdered by numbers. So in conclusion of this whole thing, this man was not who he says he is. Let me just, I'll try to find it if I've got it somewhere. This is from Henry Macau. He's a gatekeeper, a major gatekeeper. Doesn't talk about too much at all. The late Alice Stang described him as a communist agent, philanderer, and a pagan and a plagiarist because he plagiarized "I Have a Dream" speech. Well, if he's an acting agent, he's gonna plagiarize something, isn't he? His Communist Party's activities, the violence that always erupted in his demonstration, his plagiarism and his sexual pathology. He had affairs. Pagan, more like he was Saturnian. Like all agents are the Saturnians, aren't they? Areas in a picture, a communist training school. Communist Aubrey Williams and Abner Berry, a member of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. Rosa Parks, for those you don't know, she's the one that refused to go at the back of the bus. Who helped King launch the Montgomery bus boycott. They're telling you there was a staged event. Then his handler, Stanley Neverson, Jewish man, allegedly a paymaster of the KGB, CIA, Mossad, British intelligence. They all run by the Zionist Jesuits, the Catholic Church, the New World Order. sent money to pay for Soviet actors in the US, distributed the money. They're saying that KGB financed Martin Luther King. Well, it was a joint operation. All the major intelligence agencies. In this case, Russian intelligence, KGB, CIA, an agent of sorts. Now this is interesting. Alan Stang highlight non-violent demonstrators go into the streets to exercise their constitutional rights. Racists resist by unleashing violence against them. I won't read the rest because I don't want to spend too much time on it. Stang points out, Alan Stang, that step 2 calls for violence. He says racists resist by unleashing violence against them. Sounds like he's calling for violence. He says the reason violence broke out wherever he went was that violence was what when he went into the streets to get. Without the necessary violence, his schemes would fall flat. And some guy did point out, a police officer, Drew Lackey was Montgomery, Alabama chief of police. In a speech in 2006, he explained in 1965, non-violent demonstrators who are part of Martin Luther King's movement tried to provoke policemen to react by throwing non-violent bottles and bricks. So far from being a preacher of peace, non-violence, he was a violent fucking agent. Plagiarism. Borrowed heavily from Jack Boozer. Basically saying he stole all his work. Yeah, just wanted him. Sorry, I don't know why I keep pausing. Basically, what I'm saying is he stole all his work from this guy, which is what he's saying here. But they've coded for him. I mean, the guy is celebrated. Shouldn't be. The guy is an agent. He never wrote anything. The guy didn't believe. He wasn't a religious man either. Okay, I think that's enough now. Yeah, so there he was a sexual predator. He had affairs. FBI tapped him. That's what. This is all alleged. This all could be disinformation. Bullshit by the numbers. This could be, but these agents, of course, do these kind of things and get away with it. Or maybe he didn't do anything, and then it's just all part of the script that he's reading off of. So that concludes the decode. See you soon.